Everybody ready?
No. Sorry.
No worries. You're good.
No, I am.
All right, well, showtime. We're here at PFL Playoffs. First off, how much does it mean to you to have this opportunity to be here in the playoffs in your second season? And what has the quick turnaround been just 4 weeks after facing Stevie Ray?
I actually like the quick turnarounds, man. I think the season format keeps us busy. The crazy thing was having two fights booked back to back. You know, like going into that last fight, knowing I had this fight coming up. The mindset was like not get hurt, kind of point spar him. And I came out with my traditional Taekwondo stance, did the flashy kicks, but I found out it was the wrong mindset for these fights.
And then in terms of the 4 week turnaround, what are camps like when there's such a quick turnaround like that? Does it change up the flow in camp, or what is that whole experience like?
The camp actually started in December. I think I learned last season that you can't just do a 2-month training camp or a 4-week training camp. So I started in December. We kind of knew who was in the division already and like what to expect. A lot of southpaws. So I got some southpaw sparring partners in there with me. Eric Koch, actually, one of my old teammates. He's been living with me for a couple weeks now. It's been a good training camp. Nothing really changes besides the mindset.
Mm-hmm. The last question for me, you and I have talked a lot about the naysayers coming into this season. Anthony Pettis, is he still the same guy? How much does it mean to you to be in this position, and how much does that motivate you to move forward?
Yeah, I like being the underdog, actually. I think in my career I was the underdog a lot. Going into my title fights in the UFC, even WEC, I was the underdog. So I like having my back against the wall. I think in this format, like I said, having them two fights booked back to back, knowing I had a guaranteed playoff spot, it made that last fight just a little cloudy. I've never been in that position before, and I learned from the mistakes.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Breeze with the MMA Breeze. Your last fight, obviously it ended in an injury, but when it was over, Stevie Ray, he expressed concerns of you making it to the second bout. Here you are getting ready to fight him in the rematch. How are you feeling overall, health-wise?
I feel amazing, man. Actually, in that fight, I had a split decision to make. It was like, do I let the rib pop? Because I was in a bad spot. He definitely had me in a good compromised position. I tried to do a back escape, and I didn't clear the body triangle. But the crazy thing is, I initiated that takedown. He couldn't take me down in that fight. I was winning the stand-up, and when I look back at it, it's just kind of frustrating to see that amateur move that I made. Initiating a dumb takedown like that. My body's healthy. I'm here. I'm about to be on weight. I feel good, ready to go.
Heck yeah, and what do you see going differently in this fight, if anything?
Mindset, man. I'm gonna go in here, bite down on my mouthpiece, and look for the finish. Last fight, I usually fight guys in the open stance. He's a southpaw, I go orthodox. I fought him southpaw just because I was trying to point spar him. My Taekwondo stance. I was like, let's not get hurt and make it out of this fight. And I just got put in a position that I wasn't expecting.
Gotcha. Thank you and good luck.
Thanks.
Anthony, I'm just curious, out of your long career, how is this your first rematch?
It's not my first rematch. I actually fought Ben Henderson twice and Cowboy Cerrone twice. So third rematch. But first one I lost. So this is my first time losing a fight and rematching a guy. Yeah.
And I'm just curious, 2 wins away, do you feel with those 2 wins it's kind of a FU to Dana?
No, man. Dana's actually a good friend of mine, man. Dana helped me buy my mom a house, so I'm forever grateful to Dana White. We're still friends. We still talk. I live in Vegas, so I see him all the time, man. So yeah, it's not an FU to Dana at all. It's just more of a legacy for me.
And how's Sergio holding up?
Yeah, he tore his ACL, so he's about I think he has to wait till this championship plays out, the tournament Bellator. So I don't think we'll see him until next year. He's going to Bali for his birthday, so he's living life.
Thanks.
And Anthony, Miles from Boogie's Basement. About that rematch with Benson Henderson, how it compares to this? How does your mindset change going into an immediate rematch instead of having over a year to prepare?
Yeah, I won the first Ben Henderson fight. This one I lost, so the mindset is like redemption. Like I said, that fight, it was weird having 2 fights booked back to back. I'd never been in that position where I was like, I'm guaranteed a playoff spot, and I kind of had a gimme fight. Not a gimme fight, but a fight that was like, didn't really matter for the championship. So I think, my mindset is to finish this guy. Go out there and not point spar him, go out there and finish this guy.
And what's it like to finally be a promoter yourself and putting on an event in your hometown?
Oh man, it's amazing. I did Florida first just to make sure I had something and I could, because I know Milwaukee would be easy to put a show on in. But now that I'm going to Milwaukee, we sold out already. I'm expecting a great turnout, and the level of talent that I got to give them a stage to perform on, it's amazing. Augo Husick was on my Florida card, and he got signed to the PFL. So that's my first guy that came from APFC to a big organization.
Anthony, just a follow-up question. Now that you're a fighter, and you're still a fighter, promoter, and having your own management team, do you feel also that you may have to get one step out of fighting and go full time as being promoter?
I mean, eventually fighting is going to be over, man. So I mean, I definitely always, I've had businesses for a long time, from sports bars, barbershops to my gyms. But this is more of like a legacy thing that I'm gonna leave on this sport. When I was up and coming, I was fighting like Harley Davidson dealerships and sports bars, to get my chance at the big shows. Now these guys are fighting on a stage where the whole world gets to see them. Like, these guys are relatively unknown, and they get a chance to become known in the world of mixed martial arts.
And you talk about when you won the title back in UFC. You talk about when you were in the bleachers. Now that you are moving on with your career and the things that you want to do for the future, what is the inspiration you want to give to those people coming up as they will try to get in the game?
Man, anything is possible. I mean, even being here right now, I've had a long career. I got lucky with a long career, man. I think it's the 17th year fighting professionally, and across a lot of promotions. I've been the champ in most of the promotions I've been in, except for this one. So, anything is possible. Keep dreaming and keep working, and anything's possible.
Good.
Anthony, how do you feel the PFL has been treating you after having such a long career in the UFC?
Amazing, man. Yeah, I think the first season was rough just because of COVID and the restrictions and having to be at a hotel for like 3 weeks before a fight, and then turning back around. So like the amount of money they spent to host these three or four fight cards last year and have their teams in there feeding the teams, like they actually take care of their athletes. Yeah, so I would say everything has been amazing with PFL.
Thank you.
Anthony, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Eddie from Five Bananas. I just wanted to say, last show was in Orlando. Now you're going to Milwaukee. Do you already have a location for your next APFC?
Yeah, we're going to Las Vegas.
Awesome.
Yep, so we're going to Las Vegas. We're doing West Coast. I do East Coast, Midwest, and then we're going West Coast.
Awesome. And do you still see that you're going to bring people towards PFL and UFC, or all branches all around?
All branches, man. I'm just giving these kids the opportunity to shine, because like the local MMA scene's growing crazy. There's so many good promotions out there. LFA is a great one. I mean, there's promotions that are giving these guys a good stage, and I'm just adding to that.
Awesome. Thank you.
Anthony, so does being the underdog for the first time in your PFL career change your outlook on this fight? And also, are you looking to place a little money on that, perhaps?
I can't bet on myself, but I would if I could. But yeah, I think being the underdog in this fight, it makes sense. He beat me the last fight just a couple weeks ago. But if you watch the fight, I was winning the stand-up. He could not take me down. I initiated that takedown, and I just got caught.
Right. So to your point, actually watching that fight live back on the train up here, they were showing the live odds as you're in that body lock. I mean, you were minus 230 on the live odds. So to your point, I mean, I think you were ahead early. Do you come in with some confidence coming back into this matchup? You made a little mistake mentally, and you're here to finish the job this time?
For sure. I think, the way I fought him, I mean, I don't fight, like I said, if I fight a guy, it's usually open stance. If they're orthodox, I fight southpaw, just because that my kicks are very dangerous. My striking is very dangerous. I went in that mindset, that fight, point sparring. I was like, even my coaches were like, let's coast through this. We got to fight in 5 weeks. Let's not get hurt, and let's fight the fight that matters, which is this one.
Thank you.
Anthony, August 12th, of course, is when APFC 2 goes down. Has it been difficult maybe to manage the promotion of that and development of that card and your training camp for Stevie Ray?
Not at all. I got a great team behind APFC that, I barely have. My job in there is just to promote. I go in there, I make sure the city's coming out, and Milwaukee was kind of very easy. That's why we kind of matched these two up.
Mm-hmm.
Milwaukee, we knew we was going to sell out. We sold out like really quick out of VIP tables. I think we're expecting like 2,500 people, at a local show, which is good.
Yeah.
The talent that's coming in, like the guys that we're dealing with, are most of our guys. So it's very easy for us to manage.
Now, your grandpa on your mom's side has 17 siblings, of course, right? That's
17
a lot.
kids, yeah.
Kids, right? Having such a big extended family, what's that been like during your life?
Man, it's crazy, Mexicans and Puerto Ricans. So my mom's Mexican and my dad's Puerto Rican, and my dad has 8 siblings and my mom has 17. Well, 19. We just found out she has 2 more. So my grandpa's been busy, man. I got like a uncle that's like 12. So it's crazy. It's crazy. He's still going.
And last for me, Anthony, just reflecting, what do you think your dad would have made of your mixed martial arts career?
Man, just watching Danny Garcia fight, him and his pops, the way they are and the way he is in his interviews. My dad was just like that. Puerto Rican dude, very outspoken, good fighter in his own right. So I think that's where me and my brother get our fighting skills from, is my dad. But he was killed obviously in a house robbery when I was a kid. So I think I missed out on that, but it made me the man I am today.
Best of luck, champ.
Anthony, Eldrin from the Fight Dialogue. I see you tapped into the grappling as well. Your team won the grappling invitational UFC Fight Pass. Talk to me about that experience. You're looking to get more into that as well too?
I mean, they offered, it was like fight show versus fight show. You know, UFC Fight Pass has, you know, James Krause, Uriah Faber, and Masvidal. We all have fight shows, so it was like, it made sense to have like these guys, I guess, headline that grappling event. It was actually a cool experience. You know, I couldn't compete just because the PFL comes first right now. Like, my objective is to become a champion in this organization. But you know, the team I brought in was some killers, bro. Like, a lot of guys, they didn't know about them. There's like the giant guy, like the big guy.
Yeah, I used to train with them.
Yeah, bro, he's a monster. You know? So I was like, everybody was like Nick. I forget the guy's name. Masvidal's guy, one of the wrestlers. He was like, "Oh, we're coming for that 25." Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
That 25 G's. And I'm like, man, we'll see. Yeah, we did it.
And to touch on another thing, you spoke about this before, the mental aspect. Danny Garcia came out recently about that. Patty Pimpman talked about that. Talk to me about what it's like more athletes are speaking more about this issue.
It's good, man. I think even Patty Pimpman coming out and talking about men's mental health, bro. It's like, you know, especially as fighters, we're looked at like these like macho guys that, you know, anything happens and we just make it through, man. A lot of emotions come into these fights, you know, like winning, like my career, bro. I was on top of the world on a Wheaties box, and I lose 3 fights in a row right after that. So like, there's a lot of emotion that goes back into that, and a lot of dark times, bro. Like I've had some dark times in my career where my support system really helped me through. So yeah, I think it's great that people are speaking out about it, and to see me and Danny are good friends. I know what he goes through too as well, man. Like, there's a lot of pressure on us as athletes and fighters, and we kind of get overlooked in that sense.
Thank you.
Anthony, you've talked a bit before about how the plan is when this season's over, you want to box. Is that still on your radar?
I definitely want to box before I'm done fighting. I'm working with Jorge Capotillo, still big part of my training camps. Seeing him and his little son, bro, Dylan Capotillo, you guys got to look out for that kid. He's going to be a monster, the way he trains. But yeah, I definitely want to box before this is over. Before I hang up the gloves, I will have a boxing match.
What did you make of the whole situation this week? There was a fight the next night after you with Jake Paul, who's obviously close enough to your career, having fought a couple of your boys. What did you make of that whole situation with the weight and the cancellation?
It sucks, man, because these guys actually, you know, Jake Paul is actually training for these fights, you know, and I think, you know, he had a couple of opponents drop out on him. I know Nikisa very well. You know, Nikisa's with the guy who's actually the promoter of Jake Paul, well, helping Jake Paul promote. I think it sucks that they lost out. You know, I think a lot of people would have came out for that. I was planning on staying to watch that, but you know, that's not happening. I'm headed back home.
Was there a chance you went, hey, I'll rehydrate after my weight cut, I'll get up to 170 the next day, maybe I'll go the next day?
Man, I fight at like 178 when I'm rehydrated. Yeah, so
you could have made that living.
For sure, definitely.
You mentioned Nikisa as well. Sorry to ask a little bit more, but you mentioned it. Do you think there's a chance, obviously nickname Showtime, he's on Showtime Boxing, maybe you sit down with Nikisa at some point this week and maybe say, hey, how about I get on one of these cards?
I just texted Nikisa actually. I saw a response that he, you know, put out towards, I think Dana White said some stuff about, you know, he couldn't sell enough tickets. And man, I support all these brands, man. Like the more options fighters have, the more opportunities we have. And I like what they're doing. You know, I like what Jake Paul's, you know, he wants fighters to get paid more, and he's, you know, a big advocate of that. And that's only, you know, better for us as fighters.
Anthony, you've had a miraculous career as a fighter, accomplished nearly everything. What is there you feel left to do? And then in your promotional career, what would you like to accomplish? Like, what would be the pinnacle of that?
Well, I think I was a champ in every organization I fought in, so I definitely need this one, you know, to cement my legacy as one of the lightweight, you know, best there ever was. Promotional wise, I just want to give these guys an opportunity. Like, no lie, like that's why I'm in that side of it. You know, I've seen how these lower level fighters get treated, and the sport's growing where like there's enough money for this to change.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
We good?
All right, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anthony.
Appreciate it.
Good luck.